start all over again now. Welcome to AIWF Ringside Wrestling, everybody. If we go to do the YouTube thing, we can cut that part out. But anyway, welcome to Ringside Wrestling for December the 2nd. I see Sergeant Striker has joined us. Joey Nuggs has joined us. We got some other people that are maybe going to join us. So good evening, gentlemen. But let me get right into it here. For advertising inquiries with the AIWF Ringside Wrestling, including at live events in the AIWF Roku channel, you can reach out to us at AIWF20@hotmail.com. And or you could approach me at the live events. Of course, I won't be back until January 1st. But you can also reach out to Commissioner Rick Diesel or head referee and music man Darren at the live events if you're interested in advertising with us. We went ahead and set a rate finally for this program for $10 a month, folks. We can get you a 1 to 2 minute read on this show, and that's every week. That's not $10 a week. I don't want you to be mistaken. You're thinking, wow, Matt, that's cheap. Yeah, it is. And what we're looking at here is for those of you who have got like side projects, maybe you do a little video editing on the side, that you do freelance work, or you're a photographer. You know, if you do any type of media like that you do as a side project, you may want to reach out to us because we can get you a lot of bang for the buck. You can look and see on our Facebook Live page how many people this thing reaches every week. But yeah, for $10 a month, I'll give you a 1 to 2 minute read on here. If you got a website, of course, we'll plug that. If you want to send us a video, of you describing your business and what you do, is certainly, you can certainly do that. The options are wide open, but yeah, $10 a month to get you a 1 to 2 minute read on this program. And of course, we'll mention you other places too. But we definitely want to get you on this program and help get your side project off the ground. Now, if you're in a more traditional business like a King's Hot Dogs, something like that, they're a longtime sponsor of the program of the AIWF Mid-Atlantic in general. The same rate goes for you, my friends. We're not trying to rake you over the coals here with advertising, but we would like to get you on board so we can get the word out about your business. So if you have a small business that you're trying to get going, we certainly would love to have you join us. And again, just reach out to us at that number, or you can reach out to me directly on Facebook, especially for advertising inquiries with this program. But I mean, folks, you can't beat it. $10 a month gets you a 1 to 2 minute read every week on this show. Also, we have joining us Jazmyne from Charlotte, who challenged Casey Fox for the first ever Mid-Atlantic Women's Championship. She has joined us, so we're glad to have you, Jazmyne. We'll be talking with you more after we get through the announcements. But thank you so much for joining us. And check this out, everybody. We are on Instagram. Finally, we have broken into the 21st century. Katie, bar the door. And now there are a couple of AIWF Mid-Atlantic accounts out there. But if you go on Instagram and you search AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, just like you see it here, you will find us. And we ask that you give us a follow, or however that works. I'm new to Instagram. I am actually heading up this charge on Instagram. So please, I ask for your patience. I've done Facebook since 2010, and I have done Twitter since 2013. And that's the only social media I know anything about. I looked into TikTok, but it was a bunch of high school kids just dancing around and people doing pet tricks. So I didn't really think that TikTok would be beneficial to what we're trying to do. But you never know. But anyway, we're on Instagram now. So make sure you search AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. That's where we're at. Shockwave Wrestling, mysterious in their absence. I have not heard announcements about Shockwave Wrestling running any shows down in New Bern lately. Maybe I'm just missing it. Have you guys seen anything as you peruse the internet about our friends at Shockwave? Joey, Kevin?
Not a thing at all, but I love their logo. I mean, that is dynamic.
It is. And if you ever need an excuse to go to New Bern,
I like that.
just because New Bern's awesome and I love going down there. But if you go down there and check out Shockwave Wrestling, you'll certainly get some great entertainment. So coming up for us, it's only just a little bit over a week away. AIWF Mid-Atlantic presents Breaking Christmas Balls, coming your way Saturday, December 11th at Veterans Park in Mount Airy. Tickets are $8 for the ringside seats as normal. $6 tickets for general admission. Important thing to note, if you look at the bottom of the flyer there, doors open at 4 p.m. I talked about this on the little blurb I did last Friday. Bell time is at 5 p.m. We're going to move the shows up to an earlier start for the winter time for obvious reasons. If you've ever been to Veterans Park, you know why we're doing that. I have somebody mysterious joining the call named iPhone. So I don't know if that's a fan or some robots are watching us, but we'll definitely keep our eye on that. So anyway, Veterans Park coming up December 11th. Check out this boss artwork that we've been seeing appearing on the AIWF Mid-Atlantic page. Yes, Caden Pierre, the one and only. He will be there. And again, bell time 5 p.m. for this event. Also, Ty Tyson will be there, which may be a surprise to some of you who are at our show on November 20th, but we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. Also, Jason Kidd on the card in Mount Airy that night. This is just great artwork. I love this stuff. Jack, the MMA fighter, is going to be there. This man, if you have not seen him in action yet, folks, he came to us and during the fair shows back in September, and he is a student of all combat sports, and he is bad news in the ring, gentlemen. Joey Nuggs, Kevin Striker, Jazmyne, got any experience of dealings with Jack. He is certainly a force to be reckoned with, and he is moving up the rankings quickly in the Mid-Atlantic.
Yes, definitely. His moniker is the god of combat sports. Now, I don't know exactly what it takes to be a god of combat sports, but I myself do not want to find out. I would hate to be the person that might want to find out as well. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm too old for that. I like when he's got the Mortal Kombat Raiden look going on there with the lightning around him and everything, you know?
Oh, yeah.
He probably wouldn't have to hit you with a lightning bolt to make your head pop like a pimple, though. I'm telling you.
Probably not.
Flawless victory.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get a double flawless and a fatality, it's 300 points.
Fatality.
Yeah. Love digging this hard.
I'm working on that, shooting the fireball. I still haven't down yet, though.
Yeah,
Get over here.
Dirty
Come
Joe. Dirty Joe looks like he might be trying to block that lightning bolt that Jack is sending out there. But again, kudos to whoever came up with this artwork. It just started appearing on the Mid-Atlantic page this past week, and it's really impressive. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. There's more of it. I just didn't include all of it on the slides, but you can definitely go there and see it. And look at this, a new combination coming to Mount Airy on December 11th. We've all seen Jeff Paul, but according to the Mid-Atlantic page, this time he's bringing a friend. And I don't know what that guy's name is, but it looks like their combination is called Paul Perazzi. Is that how you say it? Like paparazzi? Paul Perazzi?
Yeah, Paul Perazzi.
Yep. So there it is. And they'll be coming your way Saturday, December 11th. And Jeff Paul is not exactly popular with the fans in Mount Airy. And I don't think bringing in this new man is going to make him any more beloved than he already is. Gentlemen, lady. Don't everybody speak up at once now.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were still. Yeah, it looks like an awesome combination. And I love the guys' trunks there. They got $100 bills on them. Maybe he's trying to tell you he is money, ladies.
Jeff hails from Los Angeles, California, a place I just recently visited. But he has I met a lot of nice people in Los Angeles, and Jeff's awful crabby. Maybe he had a rough upbringing. I don't know. But anyway, Paul Perazzi making their AIWF Mid-Atlantic debut. Now, when I set up the slideshow, I left this slide here as a marker to remind me to warn you that the things we're going to be looking at over the next few minutes, Sergeant Striker, we're going to be discussing your match with Ty Tyson, and we've got some photographs that we've been able to keep off social media, and just until today, that you allowed us after the match to take of the damage the match put upon you, Kevin Striker. So I'm just warning you folks, if you're a little bit squeamish, some of the topics we're going to discuss over the next few minutes might be a little rough for you. So just putting it out there. Of course, after we get done talking about this, we're gonna talk to Jazmyne Hayo about her matchup with Casey Fox and see an interview with that. So they'll certainly be a lot easier on the eyes. But I just wanted to warn you before we flip this slide. So here we go. And of course, it doesn't want to flip. So take a look. This is right after the match. Sergeant Striker's back, and Sergeant Striker, there's 3 photos here that I'm going to show. Kind of walk us through what happened in that boot camp match where you got I see puncture wounds all over you and several long cuts. It looked like you were on the wrong end of, a kitchen knife or something. What happened?
Well, I mean, I had a couple of chairs set up, and I guess you could say I was going back to the 90s. Doing I don't know, Terminator X style or whatever you want to call it, but I had like a little barbed wire 5x5 piece of plywood set up on a couple of chairs, and lo and behold, I come out on the wrong end of it, and as I come down on the barbed wire, it basically just all pierced through my skin. And as I was trying to roll around to get off, of course it was set on fire also. As I was trying to roll around to put the fire out and try to get off, that's the aftermath of that.
Yeah, you see that's some pretty gruesome stuff right there. Looks like you took a bad cut. If you look to the right of the photo, your right arm there where it meets your shoulder, looks like you got a cut there. Several puncture wounds around your hip area. This was an incredibly brutal match. And I got to give you credit, because at one point I thought you were out of it, and Ty Tyson kept trying to cover you, and you just kept kicking out. I mean, it was impressive. I got to say, Sergeant Striker, I don't want to sound the wrong way, but I've seen you take several beatings over the years. Most memorably comes to mind is when you were feuding with Rick Diesel back in '98.
Oh God!
Then against Chief, who we called Jazmyne from Generation X. That was another brutal one.
Yeah.
Jumping Jimmy, we talked about that before. You ended up ending his career, but I have never seen you take a pounding like you did on November 20, and you still came out. Well, yeah, you weren't the victor, but we'll get to that in a minute. But you just kept kicking out, man. Ty Tyson, I think, would have had to hit you with a dump truck to beat you that night.
Well, I mean, like I said, Ty Tyson and I, we know each other very well. I mean, we've battled each other from Tennessee to Virginia to West Virginia, all over North Carolina, South Carolina. I mean, we have beat each other's ass from pillar to post and from state line to state line, and we know each other very well. But one thing that people underestimate about me is the fact that I may tote a butt whooping in the match, but it's going to take a lot to keep me down. I mean, hell, I've been overseas. I've been blew up in a Humvee, hit with an IED. That's the reason why my back is all messed up. I've been airborne in a Humvee with a heavy body armor on that compressed my spine, which messed it up a whole lot more. But I'm still upright and I'm still walking. Now, granted, I can't really do the things that I used to anymore. Like I did full-time wrestling for 25 years before I finally retired. But ever so often, if somebody pokes a bear, they got to step up to the call regardless of the situation. And I've still got the heart of a lion. So, I mean, it's going to take a lot to keep me down.
And it was an impressive display, no doubt about it. Not that you got beat up the whole match. You gave Ty Tyson all he could handle. And here's the results of what happened to Ty Tyson. Now, you might at face value, this don't look so bad, but Ty Tyson had already gotten dressed and was preparing to go to the hospital after this happened. And as you can see, the whole, you know, you can't really see much of anything in this photo except a horrified look on referee Reggie Cassidy's face. But I have, as I stated last Friday, been talking to AIWF Commissioner Rick Diesel. When something like this happens, it's not the first time it's happened in the AIWF, but it's the first time it's happened in probably, I don't know, maybe it's got to be several years. The last
it's at least 10 plus years that I know of, if not 15 plus.
Yeah, because the last time I was thinking about it happening was Stephen Hayes, and you know, we used to call him Osriel, and he burned a clown in a lumber clown match, I believe, at the Armory in Mount Airy. But God, man, that's 15 years ago. But the reason I say all this is I talked with Commissioner Rick Diesel, and let me see if I can stop sharing my screen for a second. I have got the video. I've got the video of this, and we're going to take a look at it. I'll warn you fans, this is the raw video. We're going to take a look at the raw video. There's no commentary, although you can hear me at the commentary table in the background shouting my head off because I couldn't believe what I had just seen. So let me just make sure all our settings are correct here. So, and I'm going to share the sound and everything. So just hang on tight, folks. This is going to be difficult to watch, but you know, we want you to be able to see it if you weren't there at the show to see what exactly happened. This is how fire got involved at the end of that match. And so let's, if I can get this off of here, let's go and take a look at that right now. Is it going to load? Okay, hang on.
The wonderful circle of death.
All right, let's try this again. You can see smiling down and they fumbling with something in the corner right here.
No contest, having to stop it for the injury to Ty Tyson.
That's difficult to watch. Comments, thoughts from our panel. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's why if people wasn't there to see it live, then they don't understand why I made the post on Facebook I made as far as calling for Commissioner Smiling Diamond Dave's job, because we've seen in the past what throwing fire in somebody's face does to them.
Yeah.
And that's probably the reason why you don't ever see it hardly anymore whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's the prime example. And with the way Dave is and his role in AIWF Mid-Atlantic as the commissioner of the AIWF Mid-Atlantic, he had no business having his ass up in the ring like that, whether the fire was intended for me or not. He had no reason being up in the ring to begin with, much less having some type of fireball in his hand, trying to throw it in somebody's face and end their career.
Well, yeah, I agree. The fire. The first time I saw the fire was in 1987 when Jim Cornette hit Ron Garvin with a fireball, and coincidentally enough, that happened at an NWA Pro Wrestling taping at what is now known as the Bojangles Coliseum here in Charlotte.
Yeah,
I remember being horrified by that as a kid, and it's still scary to me today when I see it. I don't think it's called for. When Stephen Hayes did it, he got in a lot of trouble for that with us. We saw The Undertaker do it to Paul Bearer, although that Paul Bearer kind of had that coming. It still was difficult to watch. And in the end, it bit The Undertaker in the rear end, because Paul Bearer ended up bringing in his little brother. And so, and so we all know how that worked out. Knoxville, Tennessee's mayor now, right?
Yeah.
So, and then other times I can think of, I saw it, like, I know Jerry Lawler used to do it every now and then, but somebody who was really known for throwing fire back in the old days, even before my time, was the Sheik from Detroit, the original Sheik, Sabu's uncle, and he used to throw fire a lot. And their TV show was so violent that it got kicked off TV in Columbus and Cincinnati. And I'm trying to remember my wrestling history now, because I know Ron Fuller tried to open up Ohio one time and got a lot of resistance from the TV station managers because of the stuff like that Sheik was pulling. So it's definitely uncalled for and very disturbing to watch. Joey Nuggs, you've been around this sport probably longer than I have. Have you ever seen it? I mean, is there anything more dastardly than using fire on somebody?
It's a scary thing, because one of the worst deaths of all time is actually a fear of most people is actually burning in a fire, being caught on fire. So it's definitely a, talking about, I mean, even professionals dealing with all the different pyro stuff at the huge events is always, I've seen too many wrestlers get hit in the face with pyro explode in their face. This was horrendous to see, especially on video, to see the playback of it. I mean, I don't know exactly what was going to happen. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to pull no punches. I'm not going to make a joke out of this. I'm not going to try to say he was trying to light his victory cigar, because that was a huge flame. That wasn't a lighter. That was a flame. I mean, I've seen things like that when I've accidentally messed up lighting the gas grill before, and I've singed off my eyebrows before, and that was horrendous. So, yeah.
And it's horrifying to see. I can't really get over it. The good news is Ty Tyson's eyesight was not permanently damaged. And I do, Kevin Striker, I think that fireball was intended for you. I think if Smiling Diamond Dave was on this program right now, he would tell you that he was trying to hit you with that fireball, because what that footage does not show is the beginning of the match and the middle of the match. That was about the third or fourth time that Smiling Diamond Dave interfered in that match. Yeah. And by the time and when you walked up to him and you grabbed him, you were a little slow to turn him around, but I know he was pulling back against you. But you and Ty Tyson have been wrestling for over 20 minutes at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, whoosh, fire right in the face. And so now, and Jazmyne, thank you for being so patient. We're going to move on to you right here in just a few minutes. But Smiling Diamond Dave has joined us. He is here on this on our program, and Smiling Diamond Dave, we were just taking a look at the footage of you throwing fire in Ty Tyson's face, be it intentional or not. That's what happened. Ty Tyson fortunately does not have any permanent injuries, but you have come on this program, so I assume you have something to say.
Can't hardly hear you, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is everybody else? Can everybody else hear me good?
Your audio is fine.
Okay. Maybe your volume's too low, Dave.
I got mine all the way up.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're just looking for your comments. You threw fire in Ty Tyson's face and almost put him out of wrestling. Thank goodness, he doesn't have any permanent injuries, but how can you as an official with the AIWF justify using a weapon that dangerous in a match?
Well, Matt, everybody talked about they wanted to see things new. They wanted to see things different. Everybody talks about old school. Everybody talks about being old school. I apologize for the noise. I'm outside on my front porch. So I did something that hasn't been done in years. Ty knew nothing about it. I was the only one that knew about it. Once and for all, I was going to end Kevin Striker's career. That was my whole intent. But I got to give him just a little bit credit where credit is due. He was paying more attention than I thought he would be at the time. And the way it came down, it hit Ty. It wasn't meant. I have reached out to Ty through emails, through text, and told him I was sorry it's the way it's happened. I look at it this way: it's all Kevin Striker's fault. Huh. If he wasn't on, I got to give it to him. If he wasn't on top of his game, he'd have never moved, and it would have never hit Ty. So
it's different. If you're a regular competitor, that I could stomach this a little easier than having the co-commissioner, a high-ranking official in the AIWF. If you were Joey Nuggs saying the same thing, I probably wouldn't take an issue with it. But Smiling Diamond Dave, I need to point out you are an official with the AIWF, and I don't like to get involved in the politics, but this is a bit much for an official to do. I mean, cracking somebody with a baseball bat in the ribs, I guess is, maybe a little too far, but it's not out of line in the norms of professional wrestling. But trying to blind a man, I don't know. That's just.
Well, Matt, like I said, everybody's hollering ratings. Everybody's hollering. They want to see this. They want to see that. They want to see old school. Everybody says they're old school. I showed them what old school was all about. And that's just a small taste of what they got to come, Matt. Kevin Striker.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, Dave. I'm just as old school as you are, brother.
Hold on a minute. If you see my house, don't worry, because for some reason, none of you are loud enough, so I'm having to put the speaker to my ear. So I'm listening. I just ain't looking at you.
That's totally fine. But let me tell you something. I'm just as old school as you are, brother. And you know damn good and well I am. And yes, people want to see old school. Yes, people want to see things that they ain't seen a whole lot of. That's the reason why we brought in the barbed wire. That's the reason why we set the barbed wire on fire. That's the reason why we use chairs. That's the reason why we use whatever it is that we use. but to deliberately throw fire in somebody's face to permanently injure their eyesight, possibly hurting their families because they can't go to work to provide for their families, that's just too freaking far. And that's you as a commissioner. That's the reason why I call for your job, for you to be decommissioned, because you have no business being up in the ring doing that as an official of the AIWF.
Okay. Some extent, believe it or not, I've got to agree with you. I am in a seat of authority.
Maybe not for much longer.
And if I'm not mistaken, my co-commissioner, which is now the executive producer,
Evan
said
Phoenix.
that's what the fans wanted to see. It was good for ratings.
It's going to look great on the network, but I mean, we're going to have to make sure you put some kind of, before you view this, you might want to put the kids away because it might be squeamish for some viewers. I think it'll be awesome for the ratings.
We'll see. We've got two big headlines, guys, and we're already at the bottom of the hour. So the other big headline, and I want to move on to this real quick because we've got a great guest who's with us for the first time and has been patiently waiting. She challenged for the AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Championship for the first ever AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Championship. So history was made. She's a part of history no matter what happens. You will always be the answer to a trivia question. Charlotte's own Jazmyne Hale, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
This is just a great day. It didn't even occur to me that Thanksgiving night, the night of the match, that Thursday was Thanksgiving night. I was so stoked to be able to talk to you guys about this matchup, and we saw a classic confrontation. I hope this is not the last time we've seen you in the Mid-Atlantic, and I would say you coming on this program is a good sign that that's the case. But definitely an impressive matchup with Casey Fox. Jazmyne, can you walk us through how long you've been wrestling, where you got started, who trained you, that type of thing? Just give us a little background.
So currently I've been wrestling for a year and some change. I was trained here in Charlotte by George South, JD Drake, and Caprice Coleman. Mm-hmm. And they've just been amazing trainers to me, 3 amazing trainers. I'd like to thank them for the world, everything they've taught me so far.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with George South, man. He's been there, he's done it all in this sport, and there are a lot of, George didn't have the best win-loss record when he was wrestling, but I can tell you something, the win-loss record of his students that he's put together over the last 20 years or something is impressive to no end. What an incredible teacher, and he used to work with us regular in AIWF Mid-Atlantic, and believe me, he has straightened out many of the lippy young kid as it was needed. So yeah, definitely a great trainer.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jazmyne, you say you've been in the business for a little over a year and some change. Have you run across Casey Fox in the past? Is this the first time you guys wrestled each other, or
no, this is not the first time we wrestled each other. We actually wrestled each other before in ACCW up there in Hidden Night, and we're actually facing each other again in a tag match later on this month.
Okay, where's that going to happen at, if you don't?
Same place, ACCW.
And Hidden Night, is that in Virginia or Tennessee, or am I?
No, it's here in North Carolina.
It is. Where's it at? I've seen that name on wrestling posters before, but I have no idea. And I used to brag that I'm pretty good with geography, but
It's near Taylorsville. If you ever heard of there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's where Casey's from. Okay, so
Well,
yeah.
hence the name, Matt, is called Hidden Night. Of course, it's hidden.
It's hidden. Okay. Yeah. I tease Casey all the time. I tell her she's the most famous person to come out of Taylorsville since Harry Gant, that used to drive race cars. So, but you think back, many years ago, it's crazy where women's wrestling, where the evolution of the whole thing. So you think back to Mildred Burke days, and even Fabulous Moolah days when, it was kind of women's wrestling was a sideshow kind of sort of thing. Right. And, you brought the girls in for the big match on Thanksgiving or on Christmas or whatever. Moolah was champion for 30 years, something like that. And it just heard, and speaking of Moolah, just terrible news. I just heard this week her house burned down in Columbia, where she had her training camp and everything for so many years there. And that was just a terrible loss, for wrestling history anyway. But then you get around late 90s, 2000, Trish Stratus comes along, Lita comes along. Now here you've got women that, I'm not saying the other girls that came before them weren't tough, but here it was the first time women main evented Raw was Trish versus Lita. I remember that. That was a huge deal. I think that was in 2002 when that happened. And then you fast forward, there was kind of a women's division there that was pretty solid. You had Ivory, who had come from, Glow and all that other stuff. And they had a pretty core group, Victoria, Molly Holly, that whole crowd. But then when they started to retire, then the Bellas came along and things shifted, and it became the Divas division. And it kind of seemed like it took a step back. Now, all of a sudden, they're back to having gravy boat matches and, bra and panty matches and all that kind of stuff. And as a guy in my early 20s, I did not mind that stuff. Full disclosure, loved it back then. But it wasn't wrestling, right? And then along comes AJ Lee. And then she remembered the whole mic drop segment where she told the Bellas that talent is not sexually transmitted. One of the best lines in wrestling history. And then from that point on, it was like, here comes Charlotte Flair, here comes Sasha, here comes Becky, here comes Bayley. All these great women athletes come, and now women's wrestling's coming to the forefront, and you're seeing more and more women get involved at the indie level and everything. So what was it for you, Jazmyne, that, women's wrestling is really, really in a good spot right now, all the way across the board. What was it for you that you remember maybe as a kid or that inspired you, that made you want to get into wrestling?
I definitely think that when I was a kid, this is something I've always wanted to do, and seeing women go from at the point that they were up till now, it's truly inspiring to continue to have doors broken down for us in the history that we continue to make as women in wrestling. It's truly a great thing.
Yeah, it really is. And you see, think about, and this has happened several times. I think Survivor Series just a few weeks ago that WWE put on, best match on the card, Charlotte and Becky Lynch. I wish the thing would have went another 30 minutes. That was like the first time I saw Sting and Muta back when I was a kid. The match was so good I didn't want it to end. And then a few years ago, before the pandemic broke out, we went to the Clash of Champions here in Charlotte. I don't know if you were at that show, but they had it at the Spectrum Center. And the best match on that card was Becky and Sasha. They fought all over the damn building that night. It was fantastic. And just a street brawl. And so, yeah, women's wrestling has come a long, long way. And a lot of times you leave the show, and this would have been unthinkable 20 years ago. Well, maybe more than that was around the time of Trish and Lita. I want to go a little farther back than that. Let's go back about 97, 98. You would never even dream of walking out of a wrestling show and saying the girls put on the best match. Just was not the case, would not happen. And I don't want me to sound like a chauvinist pig, but that's just the way it was. The girls today are 10 times more talented than what they were in the 90s. It's just a fantastic thing to see. You know, we see women breaking barriers more in auto racing. You know, I'm a big race fan. I see, like, I go up here to Hickory. Now, everybody always talk about Danica Patrick, but I go up here to Hickory, and there's girls racing in every division up there every Saturday night. I mean, so it's coming. You know, it's a tidal wave that can't be stopped. And so I guess, you know, Jazmyne, I really don't, I got to just say, you know, I want to encourage you the most you can. This is a great time to be coming into the business. I mean, you're right about those doors being kicked open. It's absolutely fantastic. So, Smiling Diamond Dave, Kevin Striker, you guys have been around the business a while. Would you concur with some of my observations about women's wrestling? I didn't mean to go into a whole history lesson, but I think it's important for especially newer fans and younger fans, because as we get older, we always assume everybody is as old as we are and has seen as much as we have, and that's not true. I'm old as the hills now, and there's a lot of people been born since I was. So, but, you know, what do you guys think? I mean, I think it's just a great time for women to be breaking into the business right now.
I do too. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
All right. I had to put the headphones on so I could hear y'all. I think it's a great time. The talent that we have bought into the AIWF has been top tier talent. You know, from Ella Envy to every one of them. You know, even back in the day when we bought Joni in, which was later the seventh wonder or the eighth wonder of the world, to wrestle Bad Brad. You know, I give it to the AIWF. They only bring in the top tier women that is capable of doing the job that they're supposed to do. And so far, all the women we've bought in has really impressed me.
Yeah. Ella's been great. Jazz, you were great. Another one that was on the Darlings of the Ring show that is a very dangerous competitor that I remember from way back in 2007, I believe. She was rookie. She was PGWA Rookie of the Year, and she came back at Darlings of the Ring. That's the Island Girl, Tracy Taylor. And she will look at you and say, "Hey, I'm old." But, buddy, I'm telling you what, that woman's a submission specialist. She is more dangerous now than she was when I saw her in 2007. And when I saw her in 2007, she was lights out. I thought to myself back then, I was like, God almighty, she fights like a damn man. and I just, you know, and she's been around a while. I would caution Casey Fox to make sure that she steers clear of her. And which is good because geographically, Tracy Taylor is challenged to come up to North Carolina, but she's proven that she will make long trips to chase after titles. So I think, you know, especially with Jazmyne hot on her heels, Ella is hot on her heels, and maybe even somebody like Tracy, who knows who could be coming for Casey Fox. The road she has ahead, being the first ever women's champion in Mid-Atlantic, is not an easy one.
Nope, because once you become any kind of champion, you got a big old bullseye on your back. And you're going to have people left and right coming out of the woodwork just to try to take that title away from you. So it's up to that person as the champion to step up their game to be able to hold on to that belt.
Joey Nugs, any comments?
Yes, first off, I want to welcome you into the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. No one else has welcomed you yet, Jazmyne. I think it was a travesty what happened to you at that event. You were robbed without a gun at that event. You beat her fair and square. And I'm going to tell you, it's hard for a woman to get ahead in this world. As far as we're talking about women's wrestling, I think for a long time wrestling for women was looked upon as a bad thing, because we went from a greatness of women wrestling of the era of the Fabulous Moolah to that era of the Divas, and now women's wrestling is now made it resurgence, and it's going to be taken to a new level, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with the AIWF. And honestly, I think fundamentally the way you were trained under George South, I think you got a big future, and I don't think we've seen the best yet of Jazmyne with the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. And if you need a good manager, I am available.
I knew it. There it is.
I'm actually going to see about getting some advertisement for that $10 a month. I'm going to do that. Joey Nugg's management. I think it'd be money well spent.
I was actually in agreement for whatever reason with Joey Nugg's up until the time he said, if you need a great manager.
Hey, man.
Well, Joey, I agree with you 100%. And I'm going to go as far as go on the record to say I'm going to bring it before the board, or we'll waive that $10 for your advertisement.
Hey,
Yeah, there you go.
What are you doing, man? I never dipped in your pocket before.
That's like I need every bit of the change I can get. It's hard out here in the indies.
I know, man. He wants to start giving away stuff for free.
No,
Man.
I said I was going to bring
Are you
it before
trying to
the
get
board.
me? Are you trying to get me to hope that the board recommends that you're decommissioned like Kevin Striker does? Because that was mean.
Well, no, not really, Matt. When I bring this before the board, I'm going to tell them that you seconded the motion, that you agreed with it.
They won't believe you because they watch this show.
Also,
Yeah,
for you folks that don't know out there and watching this, after this initial broadcast, all these videos are now being uploaded onto a separate YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We started the AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel on YouTube back in the summer. We're putting these new videos back up on there. Just give us a little while because it's late tonight, and it's some processing that has to take place to make this happen. Not only when we pull it down, but of course uploading it to YouTube takes forever and a day. So just bear with us, but it will be up there soon. So Jazmyne, I got to ask you, are you planning on coming back after Casey Fox? And if so, how soon?
Of course I plan on coming back after her, because I feel like what happened to me, it doesn't sit right with me, and me knowing me, myself, and how I don't give up, I am definitely coming after her in that championship once again. And I would like to say very soon. Good. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. And I don't want you, and just remember something, you're young in your career or anything. It only takes 3 seconds to lose a match. Anybody can get beat any day of the week. It's just like in the NFL, like they say, any given Sunday. So, it's one of those things. Just keep plugging at it. I don't want to play favorites here. And I'm trying to be unbiased. I try to cover this sport that way as unbiased as I can. But you are definitely an impressive competitor, and we hope to see a lot more of you, Jazmyne. We really do. But I think I do owe the people something after the show, and we'll come back to wrap up. But I've got about a 1.5 minute interview that I conducted with Casey Fox after the show, and I think it's important that we go take a look at it. Because she is the first ever AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Champion. And we'll take a look at that video, and then when we come back, we will get all of you guys' comments. So let's take a look at that video. As you can see, I was chatting with Jonathan Darwin. That video right now. 2, 1, go. Oops, sorry about that. Technical difficulty. Hey everybody, this is Mad Matt Carter here with an exclusive for AIWF Ringside Wrestling. I'm here with the first ever and brand new AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Champion,
Congratulations, Casey Fox.
Thank you.
This is awesome. And who have you got here with you today?
This is my dog, Nellie.
Nellie.
Yes.
Hey, Nellie. Well, Nellie making her first appearance here on the AIWF Radio. It looks like she smells something good coming from K Street. So.
Yeah.
But Casey, you were on our show last week. Is there anything that you'd like to say to your adoring public? I mean, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I know for you, but for all of us who've been around the AIWF for many years, some of us thought we'd never see this day. We actually have a mid-Atlantic Women's Champion.
Yeah.
And, you were scheduled to meet Ellie Envy.
Yeah.
She was not able to come out, but man, you faced Jazmyne, Charlotte, and she was a double tough customer.
Well, coming into this, I didn't know who I'd be facing, so I was a little nervous, but this is historical, like you said. So I knew that I had fans behind me here, and I wanted to prove that I have the ability to be a fighting champion, and I'm really proud of myself, and I'm very honored to hold this title.
Well, we look for great things from you, Casey Fox, as we move forward. And fans, stay tuned right here to Ringside Wrestling. We got more great action and all kinds of great news. And who knows what's next for Casey Fox? I can bet you dollars to donuts we have not heard the last of Ella Henry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, that's it right here, Ringside.
All right, that's that. So, comments.
I think when you get your rematch, Jazmyne, you need to stomp the guts out of her and get you a pair of needle nose pliers and pull those pretty white teeth out. And then I think you need, after you get to defeating her, you need to get some clippers and cut that beautiful blonde hair right off her head. Goodness. I would embarrass her if I was you. That's what I would do, but that's just me.
Jazmyne, you may need a manager, my friend. I think maybe Joey Nugs can help you out a little bit. He got quite the vicious and mean streak here.
I just may take him up on the offer.
I think that Joey would do her great justice in her career with her being young. Well, I say still young in the sport. I've been in it since 1984, so you still young in the sport. But it was a great match. I was at ringside and watched the whole match. And like Matt said, anybody can be beat in 3 seconds. So I wish you the best of luck in your next challenge to Casey. And hopefully you'll be wearing that strap one day.
All right. I see that Nate Diamond and Jamal the Titan have joined us as we're getting close to the end. Gentlemen, is there any comments that you'd like to make? You don't have to, but I do see you there. And I see Madison here too as well. One of the heroes of the kickball game back at Deal with the Steel. But if you guys want to jump in and say anything, because we're getting close to time.
Now you notice me, huh? Now you notice me. I've been in here for 1 hour.
You've been in here for how long?
1 hour.
For the whole hour. Jamal, I wanted to say hello to you, but I didn't want to be rude and interrupt all these bubbleheads when they were talking. But, sir, I noticed you as soon as you came in the room.
What's up, Jazmyne? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Listen, I want to get something off my chest.
Well, how about turning your camera on since this is a TV show?
No, you don't deserve my picture. You don't deserve my image on your show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shut your mouth. 2 months ago, I wrestled this redhead scumbag named Benny Conley in a cage. Mm-hmm. I had it won. I was down for 2 seconds, and for some reason, Reggie Cassidy, he counted to 3, even though my shoulder was clearly up. Are you kidding me? So What happened next? I had a rematch, and once again, I had the match won. And what happened? James Anthony goes on the big screen, distracts me. Benny gets the luckiest win of his life. I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of the officiating. I'm just going crazy. So I have a challenge for Benny Conley.
Okay.
On December 11th, I want him to bring my title down to Mount Airy. And okay. I'm challenging him not to pin me once. But if you can pin me 2 times in a 2 out of 3 falls match, I will wrap that title around your waist myself.
Wow. Okay. So there it is, folks. Jamal the Titan challenging Benny Conley for December 11th, 2 out of 3 falls.
Hey,
Commissioner
Jamal.
Dave, I have to admit, I'd like to see that.
What is
Jamal,
it? What is it?
may I give you some friendly advice?
I'm listening.
I cannot speak for the first match where Reggie Cassidy inadvertently counted to 3. Your shoulder may or may not have been up. I did not see that. But what I did see, when you're in a match and you're in a ring, you need to keep your head and your mind focused on what you're doing. Just because somebody flashes up something on a big Titantron doesn't mean you got to pay attention to it until after you get your business done. So that, my friend, that loss is on you.
Joey Nuggs, you gave Jamal your card.
I still haven't received any phone calls, so Jamal the Titan obviously doesn't need my assistance. He knows everything he needs to know about wrestling.
Well, I mean,
hey, if you want to talk business, you give me a call. I'm not calling anybody. You call me with an offer on the table, and we'll talk. You hear me?
Well, Kevin Striker has a point, Jamal. I mean, you were fairly easily distracted that night. A manager could be exactly what the doctor ordered, because you certainly have the ability to go as high as you want in this sport.
Oh,
I will agree with that.
And it's going to start on December 11th.
So there you have it, Benny Conley. If you're watching, you've been challenged 2 out of 3 falls at Breaking Christmas Balls, December 11th. That's next Saturday night in Mount Airy. Special bell time of 5 p.m. there. Ladies, gentlemen, we're down to the wire. Any last final comments before we go?
Buy your tickets early. I think being that we're going back to this early bell time, I think the building is going to be sold out. We had a lower attendance than usual last month, and I think it's going to be a big sellout. So people get out there early, buy your tickets.
Yep, get there early, and we're trying to do that to help you deal with the cold that is associated with Veterans Park in the wintertime. Like I said, the bell time is going to move up through the winter months, not just this show, but our January 1st show, which is the show after that, and then for February and March, I believe, as well, too. Kevin Striker, Jazmyne, Smiling Diamond Dave, last words right here. Joey Nuggs, got your hand up. You can talk again if you want.
No, I want to thank you people for all coming out. I mean, for a change, wrestlers actually came out and put themselves over. This is an awesome thing. Right. Tell more wrestlers they need to do this. Tell more wrestlers about this show. They need to rebroadcast this all over every venue and everything. Also, you said earlier about TikTok. TikTok is designed for people that want to do videos for 3 minutes and less. So for quick promos, TikTok would be great to have a great presence in TikTok.
Okay.
I'm just putting that out there.
We'll look into that.
People do the DIY videos all day long on TikTok.
I gotta get my handle on Instagram first, but my wife's good at that. So just be patient with me. Give me a couple of months, guys. I'll have that thing up to snuff, and then we'll do TikTok. Last words.
I'm like Joey. I appreciate each and everybody being on here tonight, coming out. I still put the word out every show. I urge the champions. I urge the top contenders. I urge everybody. If you can't stay on the whole hour, come and stay on 10, 15 minutes. Get yourself out there. I appreciate Jamal and Jazmyne and especially Joey Nuggs being on here tonight. And
Joey's become a regular member of our panel, and I certainly hope he decides to stay that way. And
I agree with you, Matt. I hope he stays a part of the panel because he's a great access to it.
Yeah. And Jazmyne, that goes for you too. Thank you so much for coming on here tonight. You are welcome on this program anytime. Anytime you get the itch, just click the link on Thursday night. It's all over the Mid-Atlantic page, the Workers Board page, the network page, the boardroom page. You can't miss it. And if you want me to, I'll send it to you in the messenger, just like I did today. Even though it was short and he refused to turn his camera on, thank you, Jamal the Titan. This was the first time he's come on the show. And he didn't have many minutes, but buddy, he sure made them count. Benny Conley, the challenge has been issued for that title, the television title. 2 out of 3 falls at Breaking Christmas Balls on December 11th. The ball's in your court. Maybe we can get Benny Conley on here next week to answer the challenge.
Yep. I mean, if somebody's going to throw out a challenge, the person being challenged needs to step up to the plate, either accept it or deny it. Either way.
Yep,
well,
absolutely.
Benny said he was a fighting champion, so let's just see if he really is. The challenge is being laid. Let's just see if he accepts it.
Yep, absolutely. So we are going to, Jazmyne, I see you raised your hand. You want to say something before we go?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that thank you for having me on the show. This is my first time on here, and I will definitely be back on here. This isn't the last you've seen on me on here. And just like it's not the last that you'll see of me in AIWF, I will definitely be back, and I will definitely be back with revenge.
All right, awesome. I can't think of any better way to end the show than that right there. Fantastic.
There you go.
Jazmyne, thank you so much. And for our entire panel, thank you so much. We'll be right back here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. here on Facebook Live and on Zoom. Be sure to look for us on Instagram, AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. All of that. There's a couple of old accounts that are no longer active. If you just search Mid-Atlantic, it's AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. You'll see the pictures of Sergeant Striker and Ty Tyson after their match the other night. Also, this program will be available hopefully within a few hours or late tomorrow morning, depending on how things go, on YouTube. AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel on YouTube. That's what you want to look for. So for our entire panel, for Jazmyne, for Jamal the Titan, for Madison, for Kevin, for Joey, for Smiling Diamond Dave, and everybody that tuned in tonight, thank you so much. And until next time, so long for now.